So picture this. You're building like a really cool healthcare app, right? One that like pulls data from all these different sources.
Mm-hmm.
You really want those sources to be like totally reliable.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with, patient information.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, and that's like where FHIR capability statements come in. They're
Right.
like these little menus that tell you what a FHIR server can like handle.
Yeah.
But what happens if those menus aren't exactly, you know, telling the whole truth?
That's a great question and a big problem.
Yeah, that's what this whole deep dive is about.
Yeah.
So we've got like some pretty surprising stuff from a developer who really put these statements to the test.
It's really interesting work.
Yeah, so like before we get into like the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
can you just like quickly explain what a FHIR capability statement actually is?
Sure. So it's basically like a digital document that outlines everything a FHIR server can do.
Okay.
It's a spec sheet. It'll tell you what kind of data the server stores, what operations it supports, all the security stuff.
Yeah.
It's supposed to help developers build apps that, you know, communicate smoothly with different servers.
So it's like a universal language
Exactly.
for FHIR servers.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But the research we're looking at today basically says don't always trust these statements.
Right. It's not that they're intentionally misleading.
I'll tell
It's
them.
just that they can be kind of unreliable.
Okay, why is that?
Well, one of the big reasons is that a lot of these statements are like auto-generated by the server provider.
Oh, so they're not necessarily like hand-checked or anything?
Exactly. And that can be a problem because they might not reflect any like custom changes that the server owner has made.
Oh, I see. So like if the restaurant changes their menu,
Uh-huh.
but they forget to update their website.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
might show up expecting one thing
Yeah,
and they're serving something completely different.
totally. So like what kind of changes are we talking about here?
Well, for example, they might have like an API management portal in place
Right.
that restricts access to certain resources.
Okay.
Or maybe the owner has added like custom operations, but they haven't updated the definitions in the capability statement.
Right. Right. And that's where things can get messy,
Yeah.
right? Because like the developer in the study actually found some pretty big issues with these capability statements.
Oh, yeah.
They tested like 8 major FHIR server providers
Oh, okay.
just using like a basic search for observation data.
Uh-huh.
And all 8 servers said, yeah, we can handle this, no problem.
Right.
But then 2 of them totally failed.
Oh, wow.
One couldn't handle the data type,
You're right.
and the other messed up the units of measurement.
Yikes. That's not good.
Not good at all.
Exactly.
Especially if you're building a healthcare app that relies on this information.
You're talking about potential errors, delays,
Yeah.
even risks to patient safety.
Totally.
Yeah.
So like, what do we do about this?
Well, the developer who did this research, they actually decided to completely bypass capability statements in their own app.
Really?
Instead of relying on what the server said it could do,
Yeah.
they just looked at what it actually did.
So it's like a show don't tell approach.
Exactly.
But that seems like a lot of extra work for developers, right?
It is. But, when you're dealing with sensitive health information,
Yeah.
maybe that extra effort is worth it.
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
So this whole thing really makes you think about the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we can't trust these FHIR capability statements,
Yeah.
what does that mean for interoperability in healthcare as a whole?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, like how can we make sure that developers have like accurate information?
Right. We need a way to make these statements more trustworthy.
Yeah.
Are there stricter standards we could implement? Should
Mhm.
there be some kind of like community validation system?
Yeah, like where developers can share their experiences.
Exactly. Flag any discrepancies they find.
So it sounds like we need like a joint effort here.
Absolutely. The server providers, the developers, the whole healthcare community really needs to work together on this.
Absolutely. So basically the big takeaway here is be careful with FHIR capability statements.
Right. They're useful,
Yeah.
but they're not perfect.
You got to do your own due diligence.
Exactly. Always double check. Make sure the server can actually do what it says it can do.
And on that note, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, this was a good one.
It really makes you think,
It does.
what do you think, listeners? Can we find a way to build more trust in these FHIR capability statements? Let us know what you think.
And in the meantime, stay curious, keep digging, and keep those questions coming.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.